Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
We talked about being a leader as being a type of custodian. And I want to come back to that because when you're leading without sort of authority, without that directive, my will is the law kind of vibe, right? You can lead from anywhere on the bus. And this is really important to understand because when we're leading well, we're rarely going to be the person in the front of the room for lots and lots of reasons. They're largely irrelevant at the moment. When we look at the custodian relationship, it's important to understand what you're the custodian of. Now, being the custodian of a group of people or a organization means you're taking care of that group or that organization. But as a leader, you have a very special thing you're taking care of. And a lot of folks don't know quite exactly what that is. Being a leader means holding a vision for the future. Now, if you go read the books, you're going to find lots and lots of folks. The Simon Sinek, Start With Why, the Leadership Beyond Boundaries. You're going to look through these books and they're all going to say, yeah, you've got to be cool about having a good vision. Real leaders do something very particular with the vision, whatever the vision might be. And it's because they know the people they're working with, they take that vision and hand it out in small pieces. I have often lamented with other folks in leadership positions that you really can't tell somebody the full story. And it's not because you don't want to or because it's morally inappropriate or any of that kind of stuff. What happens when you tell someone the whole story of all of the stuff is they tend to get overwhelmed and their change resistance kicks in and the reasons why it won't work kick in and the things that they can't do kicks in. And so when you're a custodian for the vision, when you're taking care of a vision like you're taking care of a child, you don't let it go into high traffic. You little bits of responsibility at a time, little parts of the story at a time. And in fact, it's safer for everyone to share limited parts of the vision. You can sell and share and communicate the goal, and the intervening steps to the vision might be met with resistance. But if you say, this is exactly your part and kind of how I see it working, now people can buy in. They can bite. They can get involved. They can say, there's a part for me in this vision. That is the work breakdown structure of leadership. The ability to take a big vision, a big idea, and break it down and give it away to folks in a manner that does not inspire them to be afraid. That helps overcome the natural change resistance that everyone has. That it is entirely rational to be afraid of the big stuff. So some folks can't handle that. And you have to scale that back and say, we're not going to handle big stuff. We're going to take this small piece and we're going to take it one bite at a time. If you can understand this role, this function, this communications capacity as the custodian of the vision, you will single-handedly be able to solve most of the problems of leadership by not giving someone too big a piece of the idea and not too small a piece of the idea. You allow folks to participate. So when we talk about too small of a piece of the idea, Well, that's your job. That's how I want you, what I need done. That's too small a piece. You have to give them the context for how their work is going to fit into the overall story, and enough of the overall story so that their work feels important and significant. But this communication function isn't something that they talk about in the leadership sort of schools and the training and stuff like that. They usually go from that authority forward and this, hard charging kind of attitude forward. And I will tell you that the attitude stuff will come when everyone feels like they have a piece of work that they can get behind, a part of the vision that they can participate in uniquely. When we do this, we really begin to create a genuine leadership capacity. And you begin the process of building a cohesive team that can work together. We'll wrap it all up tomorrow.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.